Hi guys, welcome back to this new live streaming dedicated as always to Shingeki no Kyojin. Welcome back. It's time to face the last part of this final incredible and long episode. This is part 10. If you wanted to check all the other parts, of course they are pretty long, but if you want to check them, I leave all the links in the description below. I wanted to thank you so much for the support throughout these long analyses. I want to say that you should keep subscribing to the channel because after these analyses, I will do my best to go back little by little doing what I usually do. So stay tuned and keep on watching. Uh, Also, because another great anime reaction plus thoughts will come, that is Vinland Saga. So be sure to be here with me. But second of all, I wanted to tell you that after these long analyses, I will finish buying the entire manga, and then I just need a few more volumes, to be honest with you, and then we can even try to analyze the manga together. So be sure to be here with me. But anyway, I just wait a few more seconds so you are going to join me, and then we can start. Last time, yesterday, we analyzed one scene in particular. I mean, the scene of the last kiss between Mikasa and Eren. So if you are interested, go and check it out. But today, we go on talking about these other huge, long, and really, really important dialogue between Armin and Eren, as you can see from the thumbnail. This time I put the thumbnail like this, so I know for sure that I will reach that moment. If I can't finish this dialogue today, I will be sure to end it tomorrow. So be sure to be here with me. As much as I said yesterday, I think that this dialogue between Armin and Eren divides itself into three main parts. The first part is when you see Eren as a kid. The second part, you see Eren that has not long hair, but not even a short hair. That is exactly the moment in which, more or less, they reach the ocean and his head. So it means that we reached the moment in which he chooses to follow his ideals of the rambling. These three parts are quite essential because, let's say they are divided into three parts because they perfectly reflect the three parts or sides of Eren's personality. The first one, when he's a kid, that quietly represents the dream and the will to fight for it, the dream, for this dream. The second part that reflects the moment in which they could realize part of the dream, and on the other side part of the disappointment, especially from Eren's point of view, of course. And the third part, we understand the moment in which Eren is completely following the disappointment part, and not and no more, let's say, the dream. So these three moments of his life are very important because you can understand, thanks to those three, the way in which Eren is changing through time. His thoughts are changing, and based on this change, even Eren's personality, as a consequence, is changing. So I wanted to start with the episode. So we start exactly from the moment in which the final chapter starts. And let's go. Let's start together. I'm refreshing the page as always. Okay. In fact, the last chapter, the final chapter, is called Toward the Tree on That Hill. First of all, we start this first part with Eren and Armin in a specific context. That is the context of the first episode, let's say, when they are still confined into these walls, let's say Wall Maria, or in the case of Shiganshina, the walls of Shiganshina. And in this context, we know that Armin is showing the book to Eren, this famous book that it's going to affect Eren's thoughts for a long time. And it's going to make Eren believe certain things that, and these beliefs are considered, let's say, no more thoughts, but things that he can really believe about. So we need to remember that in this moment, Eren is confined into, I mean, inside a wall. He wants to explore what's outside, even thanks to this book. So he starts having a dream. And this dream will be followed by his will to join the Chosahedan. And little by little, thanks to the moment in which he joins Chosahedan, we understand more about the Titans, more about how to defeat the Titans. Then they understand that Titans are human beings. And he is also discovering this power that he has more and more, that is the Shingeki no Kyojin power, as much as he's understanding so many other things later. So, based on this dream, Eren's life will be completely destroyed, will be completely changing, and little by little, all the things are put in the right order. So, I want to say that even these setting that we see, that we have always seen throughout the season one, season two, season three, but even in the final season when they were able to have those flashbacks and whatever. I like this setting because it's quite peaceful, and it's exactly before the moment in which Bertold as the Colossal Titan and Reiner as the Armor Titan are trying to break this breach and go inside Shiganshina and start everything from Eren's point of view. So let's check what the two are saying. And you can definitely see once again these walls, how high, how tall they are compared to the village, compared to the area of Shiganshina. So let's hear what they say. Okay, so here you see Eren and Armin as kids, and suddenly they talk about a specific scene that is happening later. So I really like the contrast between past time and the future time together. Also, because you understand, thanks to this scene, that Eren has the ability to coexist in time. And at the same time, Armin is the protagonist together with Eren in this scene because Armin is a Titan. And not only he's part of the population of Ymir, but he can be connected to the paths more than the normal aliens. Let's say that people who become Titans owners, they have even more experience, or they have more ability to be connected through the paths and experience some sort of things, especially because when Eren got the power of the founding Titan, he is able not only to modify aesthetically speaking, how he is, but he can modify the memories of these people, and he can also has and he can also have the ability to take some of these people to bring them back in the past or in the present or even in the future. So, by having this ability of coexisting through time, he even has this ability. We saw it already with Zik when he tried to do the same things. In fact, Eren at that time wanted to show Zik some things specifically in order to let him understand what was his point. But now his turn. And as you can see, why did Eren choose to go back in time, especially in that moment? That means the book moment. I call it like this so you can understand what I mean. Basically, because not only that's the right moment to start the dream itself. That means the dream of the book. But in my opinion, he wants to go back to that time because in that time, Eren was showing a certain type of a personality that is not what he became later through time. In that moment, I think that Eren was innocent, was pure, let's say purer than later. And he was sure that through that time, there was no. Uh, there were no moments in which he was damaged, mentally speaking. He was not confused. I think that he chose that moment on purpose because he wanted Armin to remember even the good moments, but how he was in that moment. That is really, really important. They are talking about the scene in which they are waiting, they are talking about this book, and the attack is about to start. So you see that in this scene, talking together, they go back. Hi, General. Hello, welcome back. They go back to the scene in which Eren was punching Armin in season 4, part 1, when Eren is behaving in the worst way towards Mikasa and Armin. And in fact, Armin is saying something specific. Let's go back and read for a second. Armin says, I get that it was for the sake of the future you saw with the Attack Titan's ability. But did you absolutely have to beat me up that badly? Eh, Armin already understood that Eren at that time was not the real Eren, let's say the Eren that could represent his core of feelings. Armin is pretty intelligent, and he is also his best friend, the person who knows him the most, together with Mikasa. So, of course, he could understand that at that time in season 4, part 1, when he was punching him, he was not true to himself. And in fact, Armin, even in that moment, kept provoking Eren, saying, what kind of a freedom do you talk about? And in fact, later, this question is is said one more time throughout this final episode, because I mean, connected with the previous episode, but even confronting here that subject in this episode, because we have the final answer finally. But it was nice to see that Armin already understood the way Eren was behaving, and the fact that Armin could understand, especially when Eren was trying to confuse Mikasa at the time, how bad he was behaving on purpose. So, as he is saying right now, he's saying, I know that you were doing this for the sake of what you saw in the future, thanks to the power you have over the Shingeki no Kyojin, but did you really need to punch me like that? Because he knows that Eren somehow is doing something noble for the sake of his friends. But on the other side, we know what happened later. That means no matter if you do this for the sake of your friends, then you decided to destroy humanity. It all depends, in my opinion, to the things Eren saw. Because on one hand, we can say that Eren saw exactly what we also saw in this episode. That means the friends will survive, the friends, they will have a long life, they will live happily, and he is going to sacrifice. On the other side, the fact that Eren keeps saying, look, I tried my best to change the final moments, what I saw from the future, but I was not able to change anything. So, why did he want to change, desperately change what he saw? Is it because he also recognized the fact that he was going to turn into a mass murderer, and he, for sure, I think, has never wanted to become one, especially when he was a kid, right? Or did he see something else? That's pretty interesting, because we always think that Eren did what he did because he saw it from the future, and he personally liked what he wanted to do, so he kept moving forward. I think that Eren moved forward to try, to desperately try to find a way to modify what he saw. So, was he tricked by his own visions from the future? Maybe, because if he thought that there was no other way rather than turn into a mass murderer and did what he did in order to reach the end of this story, does that mean that he saw his friends in danger? And that's why for him there was no other way rather than do what he did. Did he saw from the future something terrible, like seeing his friends dying? So the fact that his family was dying, he thought, oh, no way, I have to try my best. And then with Sasha's death, he had a sort of a confirmation that what he was seeing probably was happening even later. So by saying that he tried to change these final result many times, are we talking about even the moment in which in season 2 he's saying in front of Mikasa and crying so hard, I tried to change, mom, I'm trying to change things, but I can't change anything. Do you remember? Even at that time, he was saying something like this. That is one of the most iconic scenes. But yeah, it depends what he saw. Because if he was tricked by these visions or partial visions from the future, probably he saw Sasha dying, and he was terrified that all his friends would have died, that he decided to do something even worse, that is, turn into a mass murderer because he thought that he couldn't do anything else. Instead of losing other friends, except from Sasha, he thought, oh no, if Sasha died, it means that all the others will die. I have to do something. I have to intervene somehow to prevent Sasha's death, but even to prevent all the others' death. I still don't believe that Eren could see all the things clearly from the future. He did. I don't think he had clear vision of what was happening, because if past, present, and future were coexisting, automatically Eren could create in his mind a lot of confusion. And that's why, by not being able to reach something sure, this confusion was already starting in the moment in which he kissed Historia's hand. Because from that moment, sorry for that, but in that moment, he seems to realize that he can coexist, yeah, through time. And not only he was having the power of the founding Titan, but he already had even the Shingeki no Kyojin power. We know that the founding Titan's power is pretty important, but let's say that this founding Titan's power represents, let's say, all the other powers in one, because it's the founding Titan. But not only he had these founding Titan power, he also had other extra powers. Let's say one is the Shingeki no Kyojin, and later, after the Liberia's attack, he gains even the Hammer Titan's power. So the confusion, I mean, the more you go on with the powers, the more you can create confusion inside yourself, also because once you gain these other powers, you gain even the memories of all the previous owners, and you can be confused more than before. Sorry, I get one candy that I need to eat, otherwise I can't keep talking. So sorry for that. Here I am. I'm talking too much in these days, so okay. So that's why I think that these powers are affecting Eren so much. And if you see that here my cheek is bigger, is because I have a candy. um, and that's why, even in the moment in which he was punching Armin and Mikasa, um, maybe even at that time, he was completely confused, and he was he decided to play the role of a person who really hates them, not only because he wanted to push them away from him, etc., etc. Even Armin is confirming as this in this episode. But I think that when you want to protect your friends, and you don't have even the free will, let's say, to say to your friends that you are doing this for their sake, because you can't say it. Otherwise, you know that these friends will be trying to stop you. And you also have, in the meantime, visions from the future, visions from the past, visions of the present, all connected. You sound unstable, especially because you can't let your mask fade away. You need to play a role, be sure of what you see from the future, protect your friends, sacrifice yourself for these sake, etc., etc. I mean, Eren was trying to do the impossible, and in fact, something went wrong because his sacrifice represents for sure the moment in which he had to realize that probably he made a mistake to have done all the things that he has done. Mm, but as I told you, also because he tried to change these destiny so many times, but at the end of the day, by not seeing that he could change it and by choosing following his rules, following his will so desperately, nothing else rather than a mistake could have come out sincerely. But I like that in this scene you see these two friends that are so young that they confront each other and they talk about something that will happen later in the future. But the innocence of these two young characters, because at that time they have never killed a person already, because at that time everything, even the sky, seems so clear, and it represents the beautiful nostalgic moments. Even the fact that Eren wants to go back to this scene makes you understand how nostalgic Eren feels. Because he could have chosen many other moments with Armin, but he chose that moment because that moment for his life was pretty essential, not only because of his friendship with him, but also because in that moment Armin was going to show him what to believe for the rest of his life. I mean, until the disappointment that is the book. Many people said online that was Armin's fault. I mean, the fact to show him a book and say, "Ah, Eren, look, there are continents like this, continents like that. Let's see if it's true. Let's do our best to figure out if what's written in this book is real, and let's have this dream together." But Armin, I don't feel that he's guilty for this, because if I show you a book and I tell you all these things and we have a dream in common, when we reach the ocean, Armin is confirming you that he was right. I mean, that the book was right. In fact, the book was talking about the ocean, so, and many other continents, but the ocean is real, so it existed. So Armin doesn't have any fault to have spread it to you something fake, let's say. But Armin was innocent, was an innocent kid who wanted to dream to understand what was after the walls as much as Eren. So I don't think that Armin needs to feel guilty for this, not at all. On the contrary, it was good at that time to have a dream to go out from the walls and keep trying exploring the world, because I prefer people who explore or people who have this intention rather than people who feel completely confined inside these walls and they don't even ask themselves questions. So I think that Armin could have helped him instead to understand what was his purpose in life, or helped him to figure out what might have come after the walls. So I don't think Armin is guilty for this. I think Armin was innocent as much as Eren was at that time to dream about something, also because they were convinced that humanity was over there. I mean, that humanity was residing inside these walls, and they were the only one human over there, while for the rest of the world there was nobody else. But you need to remember that mm, King Fritz decided, together with the royal bloodline next, to erase their memories about the rest of the future. So, should we condemn? Now I give you this hint, I mean, this input. But should we condemn the rest of the world that tried to confine paradise people inside these three walls, inside the, I mean, on this island? Or should we condemn King Fritz as much as all the others coming later? Look, even Frida was erasing the memories of Historia, so Historia didn't remember all the times that Frida was appearing in front of her and spending a time with her. But what I'm saying is, should we condemn even King Fritz because the King Fritz of 100 years before, not the 2000 years before? No, but should we condemn him too? um, because he erased the memories. If probably he didn't erase those memories, Eren would have known that on the other side of the ocean there would have been people. So, who is the fault guy here, or the fault people here? The people who stayed on the other side of the ocean, or the people who erased your memories inside the walls to let you believe that there was nobody else outside the walls? Because if we follow the disappointment of Eren, Eren has the disappointment that that once he knows, let's say, that people are even on the other side of the ocean. But that's because of King Fritz's fault of 100 years before, who decided to erase the memories. If Eren, as much as all the others, got back the same memories, Eren could have not felt disappointed for that. Maybe he would have felt disappointed, for sure, of the fact that they were confined on that island because the rest of the world thought about them as demons. But did you understand what I mean? I mean, even in paradise, we have people who are guilty because of what happened. If you erase my mind, and I open a bracket, I appreciated when Eren said to Historia at that time, the last time he saw her, when Historia was asked by Eren, "Ah, do you want me to erase your memories?" And Historia said, "No, I don't want that, fortunately." Because otherwise, if Historia said, "Okay, yes, erase my memories, and then let me think that you did something else or that." Now, if Historia at that time decided this, she would have made the same mistake. But I appreciated that Historia at that time didn't want to have her memories erased. So, yeah, I understand somehow Eren's disappointment, but on the other side, I don't think that just one side is guilty. I think that even the fact that someone erased their memories for years and years and years is guilty too. But let's go ahead anyway. Okay. Was the knee on the stomach really necessary? Of course. not. But Eren went too far on purpose, because in that scene of season 4, part 1, when he is punching Armin, he understands that Eren understands that Armin already understood that there was something strange in his behavior. So if he didn't punch him properly, let's say, probably Armin would have said something inconvenient for Eren. And Eren didn't want that. Because at that time, in that scene, Eren had to play a role. So if Armin went on, I'm sure that Eren would have felt afraid of what Armin could have said. Also, because by playing this role of the friend who betrayed them, the friend who doesn't want to stay on their side anymore, etc., etc., while on the contrary, he turned into a mass murderer of to save them and not to go against them. But that moment in which Eren is punching Armin shows you not only that Eren is playing a role, but also the fragility of Eren to not let them talk too much. Because if they talked more, Eren couldn't handle that role so much. Um, so he punched him in the stomach, because that was the only way for him, for Eren, to not let Armin go on talking. It's like as if Armin was able to reach some weak points for Eren, and Eren, on purpose, said, "Look, let me punch him in the stomach so he's not talking anymore, and I am not afraid to hear some things that make me retreat, that make me change my mind." And in fact, even in this scene, you see that Armin is pretty sad. He said, "Was it necessary?" And Eren is sad too. And in fact, he's answering, "I was doing whatever I could to push you two away." That was pretty obvious. I mean, even if Eren didn't say this sentence to me, but to all of you, it was pretty obvious that he was acting a role in that moment. And he was trying to do the best that he could to push them away, as much as I told you many times, to help them detaching themselves from him. So if Eren in the future would have been attacked, they would have not been involved. But as you can see, from Eren's expression, facial expression, even now in this scene, you understand that Eren can't be a demon. Eren can't be an antagonist. Eren can't be an anti-hero. Eren can't be evil completely. Even if we had some references, like the song Akuma no Ko, that is the son of the devil, or the son of a demon, or even if he was represented as a demon, I mean, the evil side that has to be defeated. Yes, externally or physically speaking, especially in this final part, we can say, wow, when we see his face as a Kyojin, we think, oh, wait, he's like a demon. He's terrifying. And in fact, Mappa made a great job to represent him externally speaking as a demon, because of the choices that he decided to make throughout that time. But I wanted to say that these scenes show you that if I wanted to save someone, or if I wanted to push my friends away for their sake, I can't be evil 100%. And that's why people who are saying that Eren is a villain, in my opinion, in my honest opinion, they are making a huge mistake. As much as the people who think that he is an antagonist, they are making a mistake, because the antagonist goes against the protagonist, or the protagonists. Eren doesn't go against Mikasa and Armin, and all the others, because he wants to defeat them. He wants totally the contrary. So he can't be an antagonist. He can't also be a villain, because yes, people consider him as a villain. Sorry, that's a Microsoft. People consider him as a villain because he exterminated 80% of the population, even if actually he wanted to exterminate all of them. So, with the rambling. But if Eren is a villain, he would have gone against the people they are trying to kill him. And the people who are trying to kill him are his friends. And yes, oh, for sure, even from Marley's side, they try to kill him. But I can't consider him as a villain, sincerely, because a villain, even if the villains usually have a broken background story, they go against those who are the main protagonists. Usually, the protagonist or the main protagonists are facing the villain. But that's not the case, because Eren actually wants to be stopped by them. A villain wants something totally different. I mean, a villain wants to win, right? Eren doesn't want to win in these. He knows that he will die, and he wants that his friends kill him, because he wants that Armin plays the role of the savior of humanity, and also because he knows that it has to perish because of all the bad things that he did. And he is somehow, in my opinion, cooperating for this to happen. So he can't be a villain. He can be a bad person because he decides to do bad things, but he can't be even an anti-hero, because uh, an anti-hero, he is a good he it means that he goes against the heroes. If it's an anti-hero, it's like an antagonist, right? But no, he is promoting the heroes in this story. He is promoting those who are going to turn into the saviors of humanity. So he let them be free on purpose. So he doesn't want to control them on purpose. So they are able to kill him. The anti hero doesn't behave like this. But anyway, going back with what I was trying to say, even in this scene, you see the face of Eren that is sad, that he knows that he punched his best friend for his sake, even if he knows that that was something wrong to do, but he did it for a good purpose, for a good intention. If a if a person is a pure evil, he doesn't care about others in general. He doesn't care if someone feels bad. He doesn't care if someone is dying. He doesn't care if he sees torment and he feels no feelings. But Eren is not like this. So I can't condemn him as an evil of 100%. I think all people are made of opposites. I told you many times. So even Eren is the same. It doesn't matter if the percentage of good intentions or good things is lower than the bad ones. But anyway, there is a small percentage of good things that Eren did or that Eren thought. We can't absolutely say Eren is evil 100%. No, if you think so, okay, I can respect your opinion, but I don't agree with it. No. But anyway, let's go ahead. Oh, okay. Here we start. Okay, some people condemn this dialogue with Armin. I don't, personally speaking. Some people say, suddenly, in this dialogue, suddenly, Eren says to Armin, I am an idiot. And this brings to a destruction of Eren's character. No, I don't agree. Once again, I can respect your opinions, but I don't agree. Because before he says that he is an idiot, at the end of this dialogue, even here, he is showing to us how confused he is. In fact, after he said, I wanted to push you away from me, he is saying, it seemed kinda crazy to me too. That means that when Eren is saying these things, first of all, it seems that he doesn't believe in what he says. Second of all, he is already telling you how confused he became, that he doesn't even know what else to do or how to do things based on these convictions that make him do things that if these convictions based even on the power he has didn't exist, he knew for sure that what he wanted to do was to stay with his friends and to spend the time with them and be happy. Because I don't think that Eren was a masochist from the beginning. So that's what he really wanted. But then it was like as if he couldn't step on some events that were happening throughout the story. It was like as if those events, negative experiences, were too hard to handle, too hard to process, that became a cage for him, that became a place where he feels stuck. And those convictions could trick his mind so much that he couldn't see anything else rather than those conventions. Now tell me, what is at this point, what is the difference between Erwin and Eren. You will tell me the rumbling. Yes, sure. I mean, Erwin didn't exterminate 80% of humanity. Maybe probably the contrary. He would like to save 80% of humanity. But what I'm talking about the is being a slave of convictions. What is the difference between Erwin and Eren? There is no difference if you think about it. Even Erwin stepped on his comrades to reach his goal, and his goal based on convictions. Eren did exactly the same in another context, but the principle is the same. So I think that once Erwin understood that he couldn't realize, or I mean, he couldn't make his dream come true, you saw that there was a change in his facial expression, and there was a change even in the things that he had to do after. That means the suicide attack against Zeke and all the other titans. But even Eren understands as soon as his convictions are fought back, especially after Mikasa's action to try to kill him, you understand that Eren will be free from that cage of convictions that made him reach that point. So somehow I think that as much as Eren was tricked by the visions of the future, yes, because more than saying that he is a slave of freedom, he was a slave of these visions. He was a slave of this power that he had, or the convictions that made him reach those powers, and then those powers were confusing him together with these visions from the future, and he was completely losing himself. At a point that these all these things were consuming him, made him become something or someone that was not the same at the beginning. If even if Eren says I was like this from the beginning since I was born, I can't believe it 100%. And I think that probably he says it to convince him that that was right. When you are an infant, like Eren was in that flashback, and you see that he is trying to walk, but then Grisha tries to stop him, and of course he starts crying because that's a metaphor of the Shingeki no Kyojin that doesn't want to be stopped because the Shingeki no Kyojin moves forward. And even if when he was an infant, he was not a Shingeki no Kyojin, but by being connected to the paths, it was like as if he was connected already. Anyway, I don't think that Eren, when he was young, had the intention to go and exterminate people randomly. He was disappointed, and that's pretty childish as a behavior. That as a consequence, you did something bad to me. I'm going to take the toy away from you. It's like when he said, "You take away freedom from me. I'm going to take freedom away from you." And this is a childish behavior, but this makes me understand that when I told you that Eren ended his life in the moment in which he saw his mother dying, that trauma made him end his life for real, because from that moment on, revenge prevails. Revenge is the most important thing for him. And one after the other, one after the other one. I mean, at first, he wanted the revenge for his mother. Second, he wanted the revenge for all the comrades who died. And third, he wanted to have a revenge against the Colossal Titan, the Armor Titan, the Beast Titan. I mean, all these revenges that they put themselves together, they create more, 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 more. I mean, it's like as if you let this revenge being feeded by other revenge. So this thing is englobing, and this negativity is extending so much that it's affecting your personality more and more and more. And then, by being affected by all this negativity, you see negativity only. I mean, you don't see anything else that can help you thinking something different. It's like when in real life people confront depression. Depression is a sickness that it's really difficult to defeat, because it controls your mind, and your mind is slave of it. There are people who can come out from it for sure, but most of the people who feel depression, they feel as if they are stuck in a place they can't control. They feel inside a cage of not being able to respond, to react to it, and they seem under control. So the people who suffer for this, they don't feel powerful enough to see that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. They think I can't go out from it. This sickness is too powerful that I can't do anything to control it. While these people, of course, they are having this bad situation, and I feel so sorry for all of them. But they are wrong, because actually depression can be defeated only if we want. And people that are outside from this condition can't understand how does it feel to not willing to go out, not willing to do anything, feel always as if someone stepped on us, feel as if you don't want to stand up in the morning, feel as if you feel useless, feel as if you can't do anything good. I mean, I don't want to say that Eren is depressed, but I think that after that trauma he felt, to see his mother killed like that, and to see what happened even later, all these events caused him more and more tragedy, but this tragedy was englobing him. And Eren, at a certain point, can't control all these things anymore. Also, because not only he is experiencing these negative feelings in the past that happened in the past, but he is also confused by the things he's seeing from the future. So this instability is growing inside himself, and while he thinks to do some things for the sake of others, can let you think that he has good intentions, but the result is pure destruction to save what the good side. And that's why It's quite incoherent somehow that he wants to behave good, but at the same time, in order to behave good, he is becoming a mass murderer. So the people who say that Eren was so evil from the beginning that that's why he turned into a mass murderer, sorry, but I don't think so. As I told you, even if it's a strange parallelism, but people who feel depressed, they were not born depressed. People start being depressed because in their lives they are confronting traumas, they are confronting something shocking them, they are confronting something that it's too heavy, it's too difficult to handle. I mean, we are not born evil, we are not born depressed from the beginning. No, some things happen that can let us feel somehow, some in a certain way, the more we keep going on living. Um, and Eren, throughout the first season, especially when they are kid, you see that he is not evil. He is mean, or he tries to respond in the moment in which his friends are bullied. So he's trying to defend his friends. And so the intention is good. And I can't see any sort of evil side of his when he is young. Because if no one bullied Armin at that time, he would have not punched these kids. Let's say that it was a way to defend him. But if I am evil, pure evil from the beginning of my existence, I do meaningful things every day. I mean, in every sort of circumstance. But I don't think so. I just think that even if I open a bracket once again, even if you don't have to forget that Eren comes from Ymir the King Fritz. So even King Fritz's side was pretty terrible if you think about it. Because he exterminated the people. I mean, King Fritz of 2000 years before exterminated the people, exterminated the villages, wanted to be the king of an empire where everyone had to shut up and no one else could say anything, okay? So Eren takes even this side of this personality he has. But I don't feel that when he is young, he is so mean, he is evil. I think that the circumstances of life can turn you into something evil or something partially evil. Because if he was a totally evil, he would have gone against his friends. He would have controlled him. He would have exterminated them too. Who cares? And that's why I'm saying that even in this sentence that he's saying to Armin, he says, yes, I punched you in the stomach because I wanted to push you away. But even to me, these punching you in the stomach seems so crazy to do. It means that he, if nothing negative happened so far, Eren would have never punched the army in the stomach. That means that he was not evil, but he turned evil because of bad things he saw in his life, based on this tricky power that was confusing him. And because he preferred to follow the convictions instead of the dream. He preferred to follow the disappointment instead of following the dream. Because basically, Eren wants to go outside the walls, not because at that time he wanted to exterminate people. He wanted to kill all the Titans, and he wanted to go outside of the world, outside of the wall, to discover the world. Those two things were good intentions before even knowing that the Titans come from human beings. So Eren, when he was young, didn't have the intention of being evil at all. He had a dream, as all kids have, and he saw that there is these Chosahedan, these human beings who are trying to defeat something that is considered the enemy, and he wanted to join to defend his population. Then they discovered that the Titans were human beings before turning themselves into Titans. So, of course, when they know this, they start thinking. Then there are these four people who come from outside of the wall. They are human beings and they can transform into Titans. And then Eren hears that they wanted to go back home, but going back home means the other side of the ocean. So this moment of disappointment doesn't come from the ocean only. Because Annie, Bertold, Reiner, and Zeke, they come from the other side of the walls. And when they state that they want to go back home, for sure, their home is not the paradise. So I think that little by little, even before understanding what's on the other side of the ocean, Eren was already thinking, wait, these people wanted to go home. These people don't belong to paradise. Where do they belong to? So there is a sequence of events that determine Eren's personality's change, that it's undeniable. And okay, now but now I have a question that I ask myself, because as you can see, the more I talk, the more new ideas are coming. Um, when Grisha had Eren, he was already the Shingeki no Kyojin. While when he had Zeke, he was not the Shingeki no Kyojin. When Carla gave birth to Eren, and later we see that when Grisha says, "You will be called Eren," of course, that name was not chosen freely, but it was an imposition by Kruger. So from the moment he was born, he was not evil. In Eren's opinion, he is not free, because the name was already chosen. And then it was also chosen the fact that he had that Grisha had to transmit the Shingeki no Kyojin. So he felt that his existence was already written somehow. So if we are talking about the lack of freedom, I can understand that since I was born, I was not free. Okay, that could be true. But since I was born, I was like this. That means since I was born, I was evil. Evil? No, I don't think so. That's his way to justify what he is doing, to justify his convictions, that he wants to bring them on and on and on. Because I can't see Eren since he is born that he is evil. No. But my question was another one. When Carla gave birth to Eren, Grisha was already the Shingeki no Kyojin. Could Grisha influence, genetically speaking, when he procreated Eren, with some negativity, with some things, by being the owner of the Shingeki no Kyojin, this Titan power? Is it possible that some features of this power could have been transmitted, even genetically speaking? So, since he was born, he was connected, yes, of course, to the paths, and he could behave in a certain way because of that. Actually, yes, in my opinion, because um, if you are the Shingeki no Kyojin now, and you coexist through time, you are already connected to the paths even before you become a Shingeki no Kyojin. Because if you coexist, then anyway, you become the Shingeki no Kyojin. So it's just a matter of time, but you are still connected. You are already connected to the paths. So even Zeke's and Eren's experience is quite different. Also because of this. I mean, Grisha, when he had Zeke, he couldn't influence, genetically speaking, Zeke in a way in which this coexistence of time could have affected maybe Eren from the moment he was born. Do you understand what I mean? I hope so. But by the way, going back with what I was telling you, I don't think anyway that Eren is evil, pure evil from the beginning of his existence. No, I think that Eren starts being bad, I mean evil, in the moment in which he is on that ship, and he's saying, I will exterminate. I mean, he was a young boy, and he was already using that word. I will exterminate all the Titans. By the way, the Titans are human beings. So even if at that time he didn't want to become a mass murderer, because he exterminated 80% of the population, etc., etc. But even later we will understand this, that later we know that Titans are human beings. So even if you say, I wanted to exterminate all the Titans, it means to exterminate the people, because Titans are people, basically. But this makes you understand that the real goal of Eren is not to exterminate the population of the world from the beginning. This thing matured, this idea in his mind, the more that he sees Sasha dying, he understands that these people outside of the walls are going against the paradise. That all the people who behave wrongly they are sent to paradise. I mean, his convictions are becoming stronger and the more negative, the more he is approaching to a truth that doesn't correspond to his main will, that is to be free. Even the people who are sent to paradise, if or they are threatened to be sent to paradise if they behave in a certain way, it's a way to steal freedom from these people, to confine them on an island, to stay there and being attacked sometimes by titans, so they can be killed, they can be persecuted, they can be tormented, they can be tortured, and whatever. So is a direct response to everything that he is living. Is he exaggerating? I mean, is this negativity make him exaggerate to reach a point in which he needs or he wants to exterminate all the people from the other side of the ocean so that he thinks that he can bring freedom to them? Yes. I mean, when, okay, how can I say? To say it in another way, try to understand that now I'm talking about real life. I'm not talking about an anime. Let's talk about the serial killers. They are not born evil from the beginning. But somehow, if you notice serial killers' background story, most of the times you see that serial killers had a pretty sad, miserable, tormented life. That it's not an excuse for them to become a serial killer. I'm saying this to let you understand that what Eren says it's incoherent. It's wrong. It's just a way to convince himself that he became or he is evil because I was always evil. Okay, it's a way to justify himself of what he's doing. It's just a way to convince himself that if he turned into a mass murderer is because his nature was this. I don't think so. So going back with this strange example that I'm giving you, serial killers most of the times they become mentally unstable, mentally fragile, because they have experienced some tragical events in their lives. It can be something that is a physical. It can be a physical torture. I don't want to say the right of the proper word, but you understood what I mean. They could have experienced mental torture with their parents, with the family environment, etc., etc. Or they can, yes, be born, in this case, with a mental illness. But Eren was not mental ill when he was born, sincerely. And you know that later, after, these killers, they try to justify their actions because of what they have experienced before. Eren to me is the same. I mean, some killers they say, "Oh, I killed that people because they reminded me of my parents. I couldn't stand my parents. I killed them." There are some serial killers like these, or killers who do what they do because they remember some things of their lives they didn't like, or because they wanted to take their revenge on these innocent people because of what they have experienced. Eren is the same. I don't see the difference, to be honest with you. I can't see the difference. But the serial killer, when he or she was a boy or a girl, he or she was innocent to have meaningful thoughts, to have a revengeful thoughts. But if they were abused when they were kids, if they were living a trauma when they were kids, that trauma caused them a shock in their brain that affected them throughout time and developed a certain behavior that could modify through time, that could extend through time, that could increase through time. And one by one, one plus one plus one plus one plus one. I mean, the more negative you feel, I mean, the more the negative experiences are, the more this negativity is extending. And it's controlling your mind, it's becoming a part of your mind, and it's convincing your mind that you can be justified if you do something like this, that you can be, yes, excused, or that there is a reason why you do it, even if it's unexcusable. It's the consequence of what you have experienced that you became what you became. So as you can see, we are talking about crime here now as a paradox, but that's what Eren committed. I mean, Eren committed a mass murder crime. There are in real life there are killers who killed even 100 people. Let's say there are killers like nowadays who kill tens of thousands of people. So, but are you telling me that those people now who are killing tens of thousands of people when they were kids, they were already evil? I don't think so. I don't think so. Yes, wait a second. On one hand, we can say that some kids, but this is a psychology, okay? Some kids can be influenced, genetically speaking, to have some sides of a personality that derives from the parents. And that's why I open a bracket. That's why I was thinking, look, Grisha, Grisha was already the Shingeki no Kyojin when when Carla, sorry, no, when Carla gave birth to him. So somehow we can say that we are the genetical result of our parents or of our descendants. Because sometimes, I mean, I don't know in your country, but in my country, we say that usually you take inspiration, I mean, you take sides of your personality or physical characteristics from your grandparents. Not from your parents. I mean, even from your parents, but most of the times you skip one generation and you get some genes that are defining you mainly from the third generation, that is, the grandparents. In the case of Eren, and we go back to the fantasy story, he is descending from Ymir and King Fritz, but he is descending from Grisha, from. Wait, he is descending also. I mean, Eren descends from Grisha's parents, as much as Carla's parents, but we know how Grisha's parents were, right? They had convictions. They brainwashed Zeke and even Grisha, thinking that what they thought was the right thing to do. So, as you can see, Eren, thanks to these memories through time, he has a very big option to take inspiration from, because of the memories, because of the visions from the future or from the past. I mean, he has a vast, a multiple way to choose to influence himself doing things. We don't have his ability. So in real life, you can't imagine to have some of the, okay, there are some people who say that they have some visions from the future, but let's, or that, yeah, or that there are people who say that they can see the other dimensions. That means those who are called the spirits, or they can see people that other people can't see because they have a range of a vision that other peoples don't have. And they are called special people because they have these special feature, these special characteristic. Eren is somehow someone like this. He has these special characteristic that is to coexist through time. But the coexistence of a past, present, and future simultaneously. Try to imagine this. If now you could experience what Eren is experiencing, would you not feel confused? Personally, yes, I would have felt confused. Because when we are just saying the coexistence of a past, a present, and future in one, we just say it, but we don't imagine it. I mean, we don't understand how does it feel, and this is not a way to justify Eren and what he is doing. I'm just telling you, try to imagine if from now you can have a past, a present, and future coexisting. Don't you feel confused? Don't you feel that something is wrong? Don't you feel that all these confusion can influence you doing even wrong things based on these um, alternatives that are matching in one thing? I mean, they are simultaneously creating one thing. I would feel confused, personally speaking. So, what I was trying to do in this live streaming was to take inspiration even from real life, not to excuse Eren, to condemn Eren for what he did for sure, but to tell you that to say that Eren was born evil is wrong. Eren became evil, not that he was evil from the beginning. The the way in which he was influenced by all the events happening in his life could have led him feel depressed when he couldn't change things, even if he tried. Could have felt insignificant for the same reason. Could have felt confused. Could have felt irresponsible because doing something that he did is not something that you should be proud of, but it's something irresponsible. could let him felt evil. But when he was young, he was not evil, not at all. Now, after this huge digression, you understand more or less what I think. But even in this sentence, when Eren himself looking like this and saying, it seems kind of crazy to me too. The fact that I punched you in the stomach, was it my will? Or was I blind when I was doing something like that? Was I confused? Because it seems crazy to me too that I did something like this to you, Armin. So was that me? I mean, was that my real intention, or something made me do so? Because we needed to say that in this story, we keep saying that the story is already written, right? But did something made me do so because I was sure that if I did something like this, all the story could have gone on in a certain way? Or that maybe if I punched you, I believed that maybe the story would have turned in another way. I mean, we understand even from this sentence that even for Eren is something awkward. And even for Eren is something weird that he can't understand. Let's go on. Wait, if I can. Okay, wait, wait. Ah! I let myself get carried away. Then I like this vision. That is the thumbnail that I put you for these analysis. That you see these two boys that are surrounded by a certain setting, because later you will see that this setting, you see them from their backs, but the setting is changing, letting you understand that by changing the setting, even their actions and personality are changing too. I'm really sorry. So this makes me feel as when we were seeing Ramsey's scene. I feel sorry. But my convictions were too big, too well built already in my mind, that I went on with what I was doing. And Armin is protective towards Mikasa more and more and more, because once again, Armin says to him, look, you don't have to say sorry to me. It's like as if he's saying, I don't need you to forgive. I mean, I don't need to forgive you because I know how you are. But please, because now I know how you are, but I understood you already at that time. But please forget to Mikasa, because Mikasa has another vision. Mikasa at that time was completely shocked from that sentence, we all know. And Mikasa has another vision because she loves him. So the perception of the things is totally different. When you are a friend, you can understand maybe that that friend at that time was angry, but then he tells me sorry, and then I understand how he behaves. So for me, it's not a big deal. But when you are involved, thanks to love to a person, um, the perception of things is different. You are feeling confused more than others. So I appreciated that Armin once again decided to protect Mikasa even in this moment. So you understand how Armin cares about Mikasa, because he knew how she suffered because of that sentence. So we saw it even after when she started feeling confused because she couldn't recognize Eren. She had a vision of Eren that was going one way only. And it was the first time for her to hear Eren talking like this. Okay, even Armin, but Armin was already prepared somehow. Armin had a vision of Eren that quietly changed throughout the time, and he was more rational. Mikasa is not rational. Mikasa at that time was still focusing on her feelings. So it's totally different. You can't use so much reason when feelings, too many feelings are involved towards a person. You usually tend to listen to the feelings. And when you are in love, of course, the feelings prevail. It's not easy to hear your mind and skip your heart. Usually, you do the contrary. But Armin has always been rational. I mean, not only in this situation, but even when he was planning things during tragical moments. He was pretty rational in all his actions. So for him, it was even easier to understand Eren in that moment. But as you noticed, when Armin is talking about Mikasa, um, yes, when he's saying you should apologize to her with the nonsense you said, already confirming Eren that Armin understood that he was lying. So he can trick others, but he can be an open the book to his best friends. So he can't trick Armin, but maybe he can trick Connie, right? He can trick other people who are not so deeply in touch with him. But he probably could trick Mikasa not because she doesn't know him, but because she was involved with another type of a feeling and was not too rational enough to understand how he was behaving. And when Armin is saying this, that means when Armin is saying, "Oh, you should apologize to Mikasa for all the nonsense you said," that was already stating the fact that, look, you can trick others, but you can't trick me with all these lies. Eren is looking at Armin like this because his mask was already dissolved in front of Armin. He couldn't even try to find other excuses after that. And I think Armin was the one and only who could detect Eren's lies. Not the one and only, sincerely, but you know that the first one who could understand Eren so clearly and he couldn't even lie in front of her, it was Carla, right? I mean, Carla was sometimes taking him from the ear and say, Eren, if your ears turn red, it means you are lying. That was a way for him to say, okay, you can't lie to me. I'm your mother, and I think that I know you. But this is the second person that understands Eren without even waiting that Eren himself is saying, look, okay, I was wrong. It was all fake. I was lying to you because I was trying to push you away. Okay, so Armin is absolutely powerful. And even if later we see his reaction when he sees that Eren is dead, but Armin, not only Eren wanted him to shine, to be the savior of humanity, but I think that even these Eren's will, Armin is the one who could detect Eren's actions more than anybody else. So even if later Armin would have not been the savior of humanity, anyway, he was the one who could understand Eren the most. And Armin could have not been tricked by Eren's personality of each period of time. Because Armin loves Eren as a friend, but he is able to use rationality as much as the context. I mean, as much as the context is requiring that type of rationality. And that's why for Eren is quite hard to lie in front of him, because these masks can work for others, this role that he's interpreting can be good for I mean it can be used to trick others, but to trick Armin, it doesn't work so well. So let's go on and see how these proceeds. Yeah, you are right, Eren says. So he's confirming what Armin already thinks. But at that time, if you remember, Armin had a totally different personality. That's why I like that Eren chose that period of time in which both they were innocent about what was happening later, and innocent even to dream about things that later transformed into nightmares. But um, you could see that even if Armin is like that, I mean, he's sitting as if he is willing to protect himself. Usually, people who are making this gesture is because they are too shy and they tend to be introvert. I mean, to protect themselves, even if they do it not because they plan it, but it's a common gesture that our body makes to feel more confident, to know that there is like a barrier that shy or introvert people put in front of themselves, even if I mean the consequence is that you keep talking, right? But these protection that you make with your arms is like as if you want to defend yourself. And Armin, while he says all these things, he is in this position even because he's reflecting the personality that he was having at that time, where he was feeling fragile, where he was feeling somehow, sorry for this noise, but there's a bike downstairs here. He was feeling inferior at that time, you know? But that doesn't mean that if he feels, okay, go, the bike downstairs here is too noisy. Okay, so what I was trying to say is that even if Armin at that time was pretty shy and insecure about his external actions, that doesn't mean that inside he was fragile, he was shy. No, as an inner self, Armin was rational, was dreamy because he was dreaming too to see these continents, and he was having a strong will. I mean, this strong will was passed to Eren. That became this dream. Okay, Eren, let's go. I will promise you. And maybe this is the only fault that Armin has, to have promised Eren to go out and see these uh, let me hear let me read a comment. Hello morphs, hello, welcome back. um yeah, what I was saying, wait a second, I have to recollect my thoughts. I was saying that while Armin, exteriorly speaking, seemed to be shy, fragile, not confident, etc., etc. In fact, he is always condemning his body of not responding his will. The inner self of Armin is confident, rational. He knows what to do. He's even telling Eren, "Come on, Eren, look at this book. I promise you that we will go outside of the walls and we will see these continents together to make our dream come true." Ah, maybe when Eren heard the promise, maybe if Armin would have used the other words, um, then it would have been better. Not because Armin is guilty because of the word he used, but because of how Eren perceived that word, how Eren felt about that word. Maybe if Armin could have gone back in time, he would have used another word. Somehow it reminds me of Mikasa that is saying, if I went back in time and I didn't choose a family as an answer, probably things would have been different. Nobody will know. Nobody knows. But yeah, I think that was the problem. Let me see if I can find for a second that scene of the book, because that scene of the book matters. But when I told you that Armin is not guilty because of the book scene at the beginning of this live streaming, I think that probably Armin could have been condemned or feel guilty for another sentence that he said in season 1, episode 24. But we will talk about this later too. But first, let me check Armin book scene. Armin book. Okay, let's see this book. Okay, this one I wanted to check it for a second. Okay, okay. Ah, no, wait. I remember when I told you that Eren did these things of interfering some scenes to show other people some scenes, etc., etc. Now, actually, do you remember when in season 1 Eren has this vision of his house? And he goes back to the scene in which Carla is saying, "Why do you want to join Josaheda?" No, actually, no. When he joins that scene in which he sees his family all feeling peacefully happy, etc., etc. So Eren from okay, but we will do this when we will rewatch the entire story. Okay, but I was just thinking, yes, even at that time. Yes, he had that vision of his family, and he was external already to that scene. Okay, but anyway, let's check that one of the book. Yes, that's that one. Yes. Here we go. Yeah, but look at this book. If it was already a controversial book, I mean, I remember that Armin said, "Look, it's a secret book. I mean, it's not something that other people should know." Armin's grandpa that had that book, that was already a controversial book. Wow. No, I mean, I knew these things already, but now that the story ended, we have a perception of things that is totally different. The fact that that book was controversial. It's like when you have a baby, okay, and you say, "No, don't touch the plug because then the electrical power that it has can affect you. I mean, it can burn your fingers and whatever. No, don't do that because it's something wrong. Don't go over there because it's wrong. This controversial book. It was like, don't open that book because from that book all the mess will happen. But the intention of Armin was not wrong, you know. I mean, if the book was controversial, Armin didn't have any fault to show innocently speaking this book to his friend. Because their routine confined in that in those walls were always the same was always the same. So that book was a something to space out and to skip all the routine and think about something great, something adventurous. So I don't see Armin as the fault guy who showed this book to Eren, not at all. But if we talk about the book, look, I remember Dante in the Divine Comedy when he said Galeotto fu quel libro. That is because of that book, when actually Dante, even when he's saying that thing, he is in hell. He is visiting hell. And there is this couple, Paolo and Francesca, that they are, you can check it online, what I'm saying, that we know that they had this controversial love story, and everything started from the moment in which one of the two shows the other one a book, and they started reading it together and they fell in love. We can we can have so many references, even if it's in another way, but Galeotto fu il libro e chi l'ha scritto. That means in Italian, how can I say Galeotto? Let's say all the fault goes to that book and who wrote it. But at this point, who wrote that book and why Armin's grandpa was having that book? This is amazing. Okay, Isayama has never said anything like this. I mean, why and who? But think about it. There was a book in Paradise, or many others, but everyone maybe was secretly hiding them. But in Paradise, there was already a book that was talking about these continents, and these continents exist. But the problem is that there was one thing missing. That one thing missing was handled by Grisha's picture. I mean, behind that picture, Grisha wrote not only what was behind that picture, but even those three books. But as you can see, the books that they spread culture, that they spread what you don't know. So you learn through books what you don't know. But somehow sometimes it can be a shock to learn some things. And this is one of the things. But I was wondering, yeah, the grandpa that had the book, the grandpa that was hiding this book because it was better if it was kept as a secret. Does that mean that some other people could regain, I don't want to say memories, but the grandpa that is hiding the book because he knows that it is controversial and he puts it in the basement, in his basement. Yeah, but definitely that's amazing. And yes, it reminds me of Dante's Divina Commedia. Galeotto fu il libro e chi l'ha scritto. Yes. Let's see if I can find the sentence. Galeotto fu il libro e chi vediamo. Galeotto fu il libro e chi l'ha scritto? Sì. Paolo e Francesca. E chi lo scrisse? Sorry. Galeotto fu il libro e chi lo scrisse. Wow! I find this parallelism with Shingeki no Kyojin. Galeotto fu il libro because that book is the problem, is the source, let's say, of all the mess. E chi lo scrisse? Because we still don't understand who wrote that book Armin has. For sure, that book comes from the other side of the ocean. But let me go ahead with that scene. But why even Aaron says, but it's illegal. So everyone knew that if you talked about the other side of the world, somehow it was illegal. Everyone knew that it was illegal to talk about the other side of the world. And Armin, unfortunately, because if that scene stopped over there, and Armin said, okay, okay, Eren, you're right. It's better if I bring it back home. You are right. Let me go. Nothing would have happened. But Armin insists, and he wants to go against the law because he says it's not the time to be worrying about that. Armin, okay. Let's be illegal. See, Armin, who is always the one who's choosing rightly the things to do, later he is condemning himself anyway because he knows that he killed the people, so he is not innocent at all. But let's say that even before killing people, he was not innocent even at that time because he wanted to do something illegal. Who cares? Okay, so let's not forget about Armin's personality because we always think Armin is the saint. Armin has never done anything bad. Yes, he did, and he also recognizes that. But we don't have to forget this moment, but even the moment in season 1, episode 24, because I think that season 1, episode 24 is even worse when he is actually asking Eren to lose his humanity because if Annie did it, makes him understood that victorious people or victorious ones do it. Oh, this is even worse to me. I mean, if I have to say that Armin is guilty, more than the book, okay? He was a young boy and he says, oh, yes, who cares? I mean, even when we were young, we were trying to do something not right to do just because, yes, who cares? Let's do it. Let's go. Or to reach a place that our parents didn't want us to reach. Oh, okay, let's go. Come on, let's not say that. That was okay. I mean, that was a little bit innocent, even if who cares even if it's illegal? Let's watch it. But later, it's even worse. Asking him to transform into a titan and to lose his human side. If we check what he did later, look, Eren took Armin's words one by one and he did exactly what he told him to do, even after. Okay, that this sentence can't be related to the rambling. No, but he kept staying true to those words. He wanted to follow what Armin said because he thought that Armin was definitely better than him to think about the things to do. So when these three time moments of past, present, and future coexist, I can doubt even of the fact that he could be confused by Armin's words too, because it was Armin who saw this book, who said those sentences. But if these sentences coexist with the wrong other sentences, you can mix things, and things are exploding in your mind. So when I'm talking about confusion, I'm also talking about these kind of things. Anyway, let's move on and see what Harmin says in that sentence. Okay, okay. By the way, he said, "Ah, Umi, kono shio tsukatte ii, usotsuki, you're a liar." Irina says, "No, it's impossible that the ocean is full of salt. Come on." Armin was true in this. The ocean was salty, so he can't be blamed for this. Eh, eh, the outside world. Oh, Armin keeps saying something like, anyway, this is supposed to be a secret. But see, all these people knew that if they talked about the outside world, it was illegal, it was a secret, etc. Why? I mean, if we are talking about the Titans after the walls, okay. I mean, maybe let's not talk about Titans, because maybe there is the secret of the fact that Titans are human beings, blah, 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 blah. Hmm. But the fact that the external world as continents, let's say, was something secret, why? Yes, maybe because if you go then to explore the continents, you find the people, sure. But they knew it was illegal to talk about the outside world. And even if it was illegal, they did it. I mean, they talked about it. So, but for example, it was illegal to talk about this external world, but then the Chosahedan was going externally, I mean, into the external world, yes, because anyway, that external world, it was the island. They couldn't go on the other side for sure. But wait, Armin says, okay, what I told you now, it's a secret. Hmm? But my mom and dad said they will be going to the outside world soon. But not that outside world that we imagine. They went outside of the walls as a Chosahedan, probably. And that's why later Armin, I mean, you don't see Armin's parents because they died, if I'm not wrong. But look, Eren, he feels alive more than ever because he knows that Armin's parents go outside the walls really soon. No, no, wait. He says the walls or the world? Wait, Armin. Ah, no, 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 no. My mom and dad said that they will be going to the outside world soon. Yes, from their point of view, the outside world is after the walls because they don't know what's outside the walls. But okay, Eren is influenced by all this info. He is influenced by this secret book, and when something is a secret, is even more interesting. Sincerely, then he knows that even Armin's parents they will go outside the walls. So wow, if they can go, I will go too. I mean, if they can go outside of the walls, why I can't? It's possible to think something like this. So, and then Eren saw Armin's conviction of telling him these things. So everything is, I mean, everything in Eren's mind is so clear about what to do that, ah, okay, he felt convinced. It would be nice if we could also explore the outside world someday. And then I think that they make that the promise because now the video is interrupting here on YouTube. So um, we don't know, okay, how it proceeds. But when, now wait, when we will rewatch the story, the anime, and now we can think more. Okay, I can't wait for that. But okay, going back, what I was saying. Yeah, that book meant a lot to Eren, but at the same time, the sentence that Armin says later, let me see if I can find it once again. Armin, Eren, how can I put like that? If you lose your mind, let's see if it comes out. Hmm, is it this one? No, 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 no. It's not that one. That I wanted to use it for another live streaming. Uh, and then where is it? Okay. Armin waking up. Eren. Okay, it's one of these scenes. So. Ta 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 ta. Oh, please find it. Come on. Uh, is it this one? No, no, it's happening before this moment. Let's see if I can find it here. Uh, da, 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 da. Sorry, but I desperately trying to find. Let me see in the history. Yes, in the history, I should have collected that video. Let's see if I can go back. Uh, Uffa! Where is it? No, no, I can't find it. Let's see. One more time. Ah, maybe I found it. Oh, yes, yes, I found it. But it's in English. Right? Right. Armin, abandon your humanity. Let's see if it comes with the subs. Uh, Okay, let's hear it in English. There's no other way. Mm. To rise above monsters, we have to abandon our humanity. To rise above monsters, we needed to abandon our humanity. Of course, at that time, it was contextualized in that specific moment. That means the moment in which Eren had to contrast Annie because everything was collapsing. But what do we fight? We become fire with fire. Look at her and you can do it. That means look at Annie. If Annie could do it, you can also do it. I don't know why, but there is there. It's simple. You have to match your heartlessness to win. Those sentences are even worse to me. I mean, okay, let's go ahead anyway. I hope you understood what I mean throughout all these. Of course. Armin says it was because you pushed us all away and make us into the heroes who killed you and saved humanity from annihilation. And Irene says, that's right. Every surviving human would owe you a debt of gratitude. Okay, the moment in which Armin is asking this question to Eren and how Eren replies to this is exactly the confirmation of what was happening even in season 3, part 2, when Armin was waking up after he was chosen. And the first thing that happened was that Eren hugged Armin. Do you remember? Let me see if I can find that scene so we can analyze that too. Armin and Eren. No, Armin waking up. Okay, okay, let's see if I can find that scene. Because that scene is memorable too. I mean, it's important. Okay, let's see. Is it this one? No, because this is when they chose Armin. New season. No, new Colossal Titan. Colossal Titan. Season 3, Part 2. Let's see if it appears. The moment in which. I need that scene when he wakes up. Let's see. Eren hugging Armin. Not okay. I found it. Let's see if okay. We are season 3, part 2. Armin is chosen as the new colossal titan, and now he is waking up. Let's see if I can. Okay, Armin wakes up. But no, it's too short this video. But I can't find. Let's see. Uh, okay, let's see if no, because I wanted to see where he says. No, no, guys. But anyway, in that moment, let me say, Eren Armin saving humanity. Oh, he says it even before. I mean, the fact that Armin had to save humanity. But I can't recall the number, I mean, the name of that episode. I think it's a season 3, part 2. How can I write it? Okay, let me find the entire episode. Come on, because otherwise we go ahead for millions and millions of time here. Okay, Attack on Titan, season 3, part 2. Ecco, here we go. Sorry, guys, but I wanted to search that scene because that scene is essential. Na, na, na. The basement is the episode. Let's see. Okay. Because I didn't want to get to the entire episode, but okay. Okay. Here we go. Ah, no. Okay. Yeah. Oh, well, when did he say that? Yes. The meantime, I drink. Yes. Yes. Why did you pick me? Uh, uh, but it's not in this moment that he says it, right? Mm, okay, but anyway, when do they say it? But no, but oh, guys, I don't know when he says it, but in an episode, Eren says before, I mean, in previous episodes. He says, Armin, you will save humanity, or some other things like this. So, yes, the fact that Eren is expressing his intentions, his real will now to Armin more than ever, that means I want that every surviving human would owe you a debt of gratitude because, of course, they are from paradise and they are saving the rest of humanity, and these will let them become the heroes, and at the same time, the rest of the world feel gratitude towards them. And that's what Eren really wanted. And also, he wanted that Paradise for the first time had to be praised, and other people would have felt grateful instead of, let's say, the contrary, because if Paradise people would have never been attacked anymore, oh, I feel grateful for this. But no, Eren wants that the other side of the world is thanking Paradise, or is thanking his friends to have them saved them. So that's the main goal that Eren has. I mean, rather than saying that his main goal is to exterminate the population of the world, no, his main goal is, first of all, to exterminate all Titans from the world. And actually, with with the cooperation of Mikasa, he will do that because the Titans' power will be over. At the same time, his other main goal is that his friends are going to be the heroes this time and not the contrary. Yes, island devils who went against the island and stayed true to the path of humanity. So when he says, let me go back because now we have to analyze clearly what Eren says. Wait a second that I check one thing, one email that I reached. One second. Mhm. One second. Mhm. Okay. Okay, okay. Nothing relevant for a second. But okay, let me go back one more time to the sentence. No, wait, I moved it. No, wait. Oh my. Okay, yes, here we go. Everyone serve. Wait. That's right. Every surviving human would owe you a debt of gratitude. Okay, so Eren knows already that he will not exterminate all humanity because if he really wanted to exterminate all humanity, how could Armin and all the others receive this gratitude, this awe of gratitude from the rest of the world? Impossible, right? So Eren didn't want to exterminate all humanity. As many other people think, he doesn't want to to exterminate all of them. Anyway, he wants that someone survives. Otherwise, it's impossible for him to reach his main goal. That means to see his friends that are uh, accepted, that they are thanked, etc., etc. So this is already an incoherence. Island devils who went against the island and stayed true to the path of humanity. So, automatically, we can say that Eren doesn't want to kill all humanity. So people who say, "Oh, I would have liked to exterminate all of them, 100% of humanity," but he couldn't. No, actually, he knew already that he couldn't exterminate all of the population of the world, and that somehow he would have been stopped. So he can't he can't, sorry, wish for something that he already knows that it's not happening. And it would be incoherent if he really wanted to exterminate 100%, because then there was no one that Armin could have been thanked by. So the path of humanity. So he actually wants that someone on the other side of the world survives. Otherwise, no gratitude. It would make you the most respected individuals in the world. Yes, but see, I think that in this case, the people who become the heroes, then automatically they become superior than others. And it's a problem, because we understood that people who are superior than others, maybe they can make mistakes by feeling so superior. Of course, Armin, I don't think that he would turn into a person who feels presumptuous to be superior than others because he is the hero of the situation, etc., etc. But if this thing was granted by other type of people, think about the Jaegerists. If this gratitude had to be expressed by these outside of the world, thanks to Jaegerists, that would have been crazy, because the attitude would have been different. Of course, Eren knows that Armin would have never done something to let him feel superior than others, but just by the fact that he says it would make you the most respected individuals in the world, means that he wants them to live longer and not being attacked or not being threatened anymore. So it's a way to protect them more than wishing them to become superior than the other side of the world. So you're telling us to protect the paradise from a reprisal, but by the rest of the world, like the Tiber family after the Great Titan War, because you remember that later Heros was the one who was praised by others as the hero that changed everything. And he's saying, Armin is saying, so you are telling us to protect the paradise by the rest of the world and become like the Tiber family. But if we become like the Tiber family, later someone else will come because he or she does or they don't agree of what happened, and we start again to fight, because even if these 20% of people will be rescued or will be spared, because of course the rambling stopped. Actually, okay, Armin will say, I am Armin Arlert and I killed Eren Yeager, that was the threatening Shingeki no Kyojin, la 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 la. But the rambling stopped and let some people survive by chance, by fortune, I mean, by luck. So we can't expect that all the people who were saved by these rambling, who were saved by Eren Yeager, will stop thinking that Paradise is the island of the demons. No, because let's think about it differently. If I am a survivor of the rambling, but my wife was killed by the rambling, and my sons and daughters were killed by the rambling, and I'm the one who survived. For sure, I don't care who saved me. That means I don't care about the person who saved me, that is Armin. But I keep thinking, look at those devils of Paradise who took away the life of the rest of my family. So these conflicts, in my opinion, they will come back, not only because some people anyway don't change their mind because they are stubborn to think that it's the right thing to do. I mean, to fight against the Paradise is the right thing to do. But anyway, also because there will be people who have lost other family members, and they will keep going on fighting for those people they lost. So we can't expect that between these 20% of a population left, there are all people who will pay gratitude to Armin. That's why Eren made a stupid decision. I mean, by thinking that these 20% of people will venerate Armin, will idealize or idolize Armin because he saved humanity. No, actually, he saved just 20% of humanity. But between the people over there that were saved, there are even people who lost family members, who lost kids, who lost their wives or husbands. There are people who lost their mothers and fathers. There are people who lost their grandma, grandpa. There are people who lost their pets, their animals. There are people who lost. And as much as when Eren lost his mother, he started his revenge because someone killed his mother, the same will go on again from the other side. You killed my wife, you killed my daughter, you killed my husband, you killed my mother, you killed my father. I can't praise you. Who cares about Armin being there saying that he saved me? I can't forget the fact that I lost my people, my members, my family. So even if Armin saved me, but who cares? I preferred to die at this point so I could reach my family in the afterlife. So what Eren did was pointless also because of this. Sincerely. And it was pretty incoherent. That's why when he says that he is an idiot, he is an idiot. He is an idiot. But those convictions were too strong that even if those convictions made him do something stupid, this feeling of um, to avenge his mother or all the people who died was priceless, was going beyond everything. So who cares about the fact that I am stupid? Let's say I had to avenge my dear people dying. I moved forward. But on the other side of the ocean, they will do the same. They will move forward with their convictions. So the moral message here is if you follow your convictions too much, there will be surely a moment in which you make a huge mistake because you are too convinced, because no one can change your mind. And if you don't change your mind, you are um, having a childish behavior or a stupid behavior, because only stupid people can't change their mind. So it makes sense. But what the Eren wants to do is stupid. Because even if on one hand I can understand the pain he feels for the people he lost, for the people he for the people he lost. On the other hand, he didn't put into consideration the fact that what happened to him, he is doing the same things to others. So why he can be excused for his actions and the others can't? It doesn't make sense. But then he says, so look at the Tiber family. What was at the end of the Tiber family? Willie Tiber was killed in a few seconds. Yes, because in this period we have the Titan's power. Now that the Titan power is over, in that period, we can't have maybe the same effectiveness of an attack, but they develop other weapons. So Titans were weapons. And while at the beginning they were thinking that the Titans were invincible, in season 4, part 1, you understand that they are not invincible because the cannons can defeat them. The cannons that Fortress Lava were building showed you that they can't, they are not invincible, they can be defeated. So Titans are the power, I mean, the weapons that were used for that period. And then they develop other weapons. As I told you, it's like in Naruto when we have the Jinchuriki, and these Jinchuriki are used, thanks to the Biju power, to contrast attacks. And these Jinchuriki are just containers of this power that they are used as weapons. Even people were used as a weapon, let's say weapons, people were used as a defense wall. Look at the walls of Maria, Rosa, and Sina. Those colossal titans are human beings, first. But second of all, even the people, the aliens living in Marley that were sent to war in the first row as people who were supposed to be sacrificed because it's the first row, who cares, let's go. People are used for the benefits of others. That's what we experience even in real life. They can be put as a shelter to protect others, but yet this conflict that we go on years and years and years without a solution. Uh, this reminds me the war that is happening now in the Middle East. 78 years of war that keeps perpetrating because others are using others. And as always, the common people is the number one victim. Is the same. Is the same. I can't see differences, sincerely. So if Isayama inspired himself to this war that it's happening now, I agree. I agree. It's true. It's happening. So that's why this story will go on throughout years and decades. I hope that, because everyone should read this story. Then it doesn't matter if it can change something, but at least if everyone can read this story, can at least they can question themselves. Then, if they don't care and they go ahead with their minds, it's possible because we are all different, but it would be good if they read this story. Absolutely. So anyway, he wanted Eren wants to use his friends to be the new Tiber's family. Because okay, that he wants that other people praise them, but he's using his friends as puppets now. Like, okay, I will put you here. You have this role. Thank you. That's what I want. It's absurd. I mean, have you Eren ask your friends if they agree to have that role in the story? You have never asked them. You wanted this. Finished. And everyone has to accept it. Because you want it. And no. And no. If Armin said no, no, I don't want, what would have happened? Just because the stories are already written, then you think that it's correct. But sometimes, just because the story goes in a way, that doesn't mean that it's correct. I mean, just because the story goes from A to B, it doesn't mean that sorry, just because, no, I make another example so you understand what I mean. Just because the story goes B to A, from B to A, that doesn't mean that it's correct. Because the story maybe should go from A to B. Or just because you want that goes from B to A, that doesn't mean that is the right way. And in fact, later we see the problems happening later. But what I'm saying is that Eren now wants, demands that his friends become this. But you want me to become something that you have never asked me if I'm okay with it or not. And in fact, Armin says that there's no way we can become heroes, Eren. And that's correct. Not only because they don't agree about the role, and in fact, they also don't feel heroes at all. Do you remember in season 4, part 2, when the rumbling starts? John, Connie, Mikasa, and Eren are saying, look, Eren is doing something for us, something like this for us, as if we are innocent and we have never committed the crimes. That's ridiculous. We don't deserve this title. I mean, we don't deserve to be seen so important when we are also sinful. And I agree with Armin that he's saying no. We can't become heroes. Heroes, they save people. They don't kill people and then fake that they saved them. No, they saved them for sure, but we shouldn't forget what happened before when there was the Liberio's attack. Listen, I mean, I went to Liberio. I exploded, transforming into the colossal titan, and then I am the savior. It's ridiculous. It's incoherent. And it's stupid for Eren to believe that this can work. It's really pathetic. Yes, yes. Again, wow, sorry to disappoint you. But neither I nor the others intend to play the hero like you want. Wow. So Eren feels maybe disappointed twice in this story. And he feels disappointed even by his friends. And if, especially in this moment, he, Eren, is understanding how stupid he was throughout all this time to think something about this. To think that they would, that everyone would have said, yes, okay, Eren, you decided this, I accept your will. Oh, you didn't ask me if I want to become something you wanted me to become. Ask me first and let me choose. You want that people are free to choose what to do. You want that people are free to choose their lives, and then you are the first one who decide for me? What kind of freedom are you talking about? So as soon as he hears now from Armin, even if he's a young Armin, but who cares, because we are just connected through the paths, through moments, essential moments of his life, of Eren's life. But it's in this moment that Eren understands how stupid he is. And that's why later, in the other scene, he is saying it. Here, Eren understands that he can't expect that people accomplish his will. He can't use his friends as much as he wants because he's incoherent, because he caused something that was incoherent, because he's causing the same things to other people as much as he lived. So it's like as if he's wishing for others the same things that he felt, and he expects that he can act, he can react, and the others who are experiencing the same things that he experienced, they don't move a finger. It's all so stupid. So the fact that later Eren says that he is an idiot doesn't make him go back to what he chose to do, because unfortunately he did it. So he can't erase it. When he's talking to Armin, he's already dead. I mean, those memories are appearing in Armin's mind back when Eren is already dead. So even if he collected these memories before, and Eren later, and then he's saying that he is stupid, these memories are before and Eren dies, before Eren is starting. No, it's when the rumbling already started, but he didn't kill 80% of the people, right? But he's erasing his memories from Armin, first of all, because he doesn't want it to be stopped. Second of all, because even if he thinks that he is stupid, he goes ahead. Because he's stupid, he goes ahead. And in fact, 80% of the population will be exterminated. If people believe that Eren says that he is stupid because Mappa wanted that we think that Eren, oh poor Eren, oh now we understand that you realize these things and you regret the things you have done. No, no, we don't think this. Because there were some people who were condemning this anime version instead of the manga. But no, because if Eren really felt, oh, I feel so sorry now, I realized my mistakes, I feel so stupid for what I've done, he would have let Armin remember these things immediately. He would have never erased his memories till this moment. He would have never went on destroying people. But he did it. So he didn't change his mind. Not at all. But we will talk about it tomorrow. But just to say that when people think that Eren is saying, so I am so stupid and so pathetic because I redeem myself. No. He knows he will go to hell. He knows he will be killed. He continues to exterminate people even at this moment with Armin. So he's just admitting, yes, that he is stupid, but he can't get rid of this stupidity. Full stop. Let me go ahead. So Armin rebels. He says, no, look, you wanted us to become what you wanted. Where is the freedom here? Are you fighting for your freedom only? In that case, you are presumptuous, yes. But if you say, oh, I promote freedom. Allora, so if you promote your freedom, only your freedom, you're selfish. But yes, Eren is selfish. But you have always said you wanted to save your friends. But you wanted to save your friends to let them do what you want them to do. This reminds me of King Fritz. Because the King Fritz of 2000 years ago, before, he was destroying villages and he left some people alive, so they became his slaves to make them do what he wanted. But that's not how it's supposed to be. If you spread this concept of freedom, if it's for you, I repeat if it's for Eren's freedom only, that's pure selfishness. But if you talk about the freedom of your friends, they are not free because you gave them already a role that they have to interpret, but they don't want. They don't want this role. They want to be able to decide by themselves how to do and what to do after your death. But they can't be considered as heroes, especially after they kill the people. What kind of heroes they are? General, I'm reading your comments. I agree with all that you say. I mean, it's not that I'm not reading your comments, I am reading them. But I'm trying to go with the flow and make a digression that makes sense. So I agree with what you say. As soon as he hears Armin's decision, or what he is speaking for all the others too, because they have the same idea. They talked about it in season 4, part 2. So Armin knows what they think already. Eren stands up, but he's standing up as if he's really disappointed. I mean, he stands up not like a person who says, "Oh, okay, okay." No, he stands up like a, "Look what I have done so far for them, and this is the answer." So he stands up. He understood Armin and all the others will, and in fact, Armin says, "Where are you going?" And Eren says, "To the places we wanted to go." He is referring to the continents. He is referring to the continents of fire, to the continents of ice, to the book. While we walk, I will tell you about the founding Ymir. So now Eren takes him to a path of knowledge that he is good. I mean, the Armin is good that he knows, so he can have a complete vision before saying goodbye to Eren for the last time. Okay, let me check just another scene, but I prefer to stop because tomorrow I will finish this huge dialogue. Okay, Armin follows him. And we play even as a scenography. It's really nice because we pass from water to fire already. And both Eren and Armin are like, because they have never seen that continent, right? So even for Eren is quite surprising because even if he went on the other side of the ocean, he was spending 4 years as a spy uh, in Marley, and he didn't have time to go all around the world and explore it. So even for him, it's the first time that he's seeing something like that. So wow, it's true. It exists. Wait, because hmm. In fact, Aaron is saying, so this is the fiery water. Yes, that's what you imagined following that book. Wow, in a certain way, this scenario reminds me of Mordor in the Lord of the Rings. But okay, it really is flowing like a river. Yes, it's a river of lava. Yes, but do you see how Eren looks at Armin? As soon as Armin is saying, "Wow, wow, it seems like a river," and Eren is already looking like to him like, I mean, in this way, that he wants to look at Armin's reaction. The power of Ymir exists because the founder Ymir has continued to obey King Fritz for 2,000 years. Yes, that's right. Yes, this is why I made a mistake in the first analysis. And in fact, now we reached the moment in which he says he burned down her house, he killed her parents, and ripped out her tongue. I wanted to stop here the live streaming, guys, because when tomorrow we keep analyzing, we go back to Ymir for a second and we understand even the connections that Ymir has with Eren, especially for what happened to her in her life. So, thank you so much for the support. Thank you, General Grievous 19, for all the comments you sent as always. Thank you for being here with me throughout these huge analyses, and see you tomorrow with the final part of this amazing dialogue of recognition between Eren and Armin. That is very beautiful, in my opinion. So stay tuned and keep on watching me. Thank you so much. Keep subscribing to the channel, and see you tomorrow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Bye. See you.